All right, we're good. I think we're live.
Oh, top. There you go.
All right.
That was so fun.
Welcome. Greatest moment of my life.
Hello, everybody. Hey,
We're
it's only
not
down
all
from
rehearsed.
here. Only down from here.
I know. If you're wondering what this madness is, this is the Music City Writers Room here in Nashville, Tennessee.
That's right.
I'm Scott Barrier. That's John Jameson.
That's right.
Over
Welcome,
there.
everybody. We got Jericho over
And
here.
Yep, and we have our guest. What am I hearing?
Wow, we got,
Oh.
and we have, it's
We're
all, it's
watching
getting
ourselves
super
live,
meta because
yeah.
it's on the phone, too.
Every time.
We are watching
Why
it
do I do
performing
that?
at the same
Why do I
time.
do that?
How do we do that?
Anyway, I was about to introduce our guests, but
We're here now.
Now we can still do it.
We can still do it.
You acted like, oh, I was going to do it, and then now
yeah,
I
the
can't do
show's
it or
over.
something.
Yeah. No.
So our guest.
Yeah, our guest, Carrie Earl,
Woohoo!
Hello.
Yeah.
Here we are.
by way of all around the world, and now she's here.
Yeah.
Started at the bottom, now we're here.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, come on, now you're at the top. Don't worry.
No,
You're-
literally, South Africa is really at the bottom.
I guess that's a very
is,
good
it
point.
is.
That
Yes.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yes.
So, yep, very
I
good
saved
point.
that
So-
one, didn't I?
You did.
Geographically.
I was like, don't put yourself down like that.
Oh, that's why I came up to Nashville. Yeah.
Hey.
And of course, a little.
Oh.
There goes the sound. There goes the
Cannot
sound.
help yourself.
This is going to be no fun at all.
No,
Not for a second.
Nobody
Kyle,
has
don't even
any.
think.
Nobody has any fun on this podcast.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
It's the only rule we have.
That
No
is
fun.
true.
Speaking of fun and with lots of stories, Kyle Whitaker.
All right. There we go.
He gets the applause. See, this is why.
No, that's
This is why I'm
bullshit.
starstruck
I'm calling
walking in
bullshit.
here.
I'm
No,
calling
for real.
bullshit, Carrie. That I gave you applause.
You did get an
Totally.
applause.
You
It
did.
did
Totally
happen.
She totally
That's
got
true.
It
applause.
did happen.
Yeah.
Really?
Don't make
There are
stuff
receipts.
up. Don't make
You can
stuff
watch
up,
them
Carrie.
later.
Don't make it up.
Selective memory. How about that?
Carrie's gonna be like, "Oh, this podcast, it was so bad. I got it. I didn't get any applause, and
I was so
I'm never coming back.
starstruck. I had no actual rational thought about it.
I'm never coming back to this podcast."
Oh, I'm so coming back. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
wow. You know,
She has to. She's.
they're not having me back. I already got the message.
Was it that obvious?
Oh my
Was
goodness.
it that obvious?
No, it's actually subtle. I'm sensitive.
Hey,
wait. Kyle.
Yes,
Back
ma'am.
to Kyle.
Oh, no. I'm good right here. I'm
On the
enjoying
edge of the
it.
couch. Okay. Okay. Are you being entertained by what's going on around you?
Absolutely.
Is that what's happening here?
Wait,
Yeah.
Carrie, did you bring mace to this? What'd you bring there? Like, is that
I think that's lip gloss.
It's
Oh,
lip
okay.
gloss.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
and
like-
it's a key fob.
all right.
Well, y'all wonder why I was sitting so far over here.
I'm
No,
like,
you
I
were
know
sitting
it's.
far over there because you said you don't dance, and we were going like this.
Yes.
You didn't
Yeah.
want to get hurt.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't want to hurt anybody else.
and that also, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
Yeah. Cool.
Guess he
It's
didn't
all
want
about
to get.
safety here.
And he didn't want to get lip glossed, I guess. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's.
I'm
I
afraid
mean,
that
that's
was-
probably about as bad as getting maced.
Yeah.
Probably about as
Oh,
bad.
come
Especially when
on.
you go
It ain't
home
that
now.
bad. It ain't that bad.
When you go home to the wife and she's like, podcast, huh?
That is not my color on your shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good call.
That was great.
So what's been happening in your lives? What's the newest thing happening? With
Tell us some
whatever?
music news. What's going on?
Or whatever.
Well, just picking, grinning, writing, and singing. You know, the same old.
I
Just-
like that. That's
Sounds just like a
living the dream.
songwriter
Did you
to
just
me.
come up with?
Come
Did you
on.
say that like on the fly? That was cool. the way
Kinda,
you
I
said
guess,
that.
yeah.
Or
I
do
like
He's-
that.
He has
Is that picking and
rehearsed all
grinning
the
is the
answers
thing?
That
to the
sounds like a
questions you
slogan that
didn't
should be
send
on a
out.
T-shirt or something like that. That's like a Nashville slogan.
We're going to be marketing that next week.
Yeah, I would buy a
It's
T-shirt.
our new
that says that.
tagline.
For real. Yeah.
Yes.
And you did it so naturally. It's like you
That was
practiced.
great.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been dreaming of this day and thinking of what I would say
On a podcast?
And you said it so well. You just,
Yeah, it was great.
So this is-
Phenomenal.
And this
So
is
when you were on The View, they did send you the questions in advance, and you did rehearse them. And now, cool, you're ready for this.
I'm not sure what the view is, but
good for you. That's a smart man.
Oh boy! Actually, that
That's a smart
deserves
man
that one
right
of
there.
that drum one.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That's someone who doesn't know The View. I'm either impressed or I'm just shocked. I don't
I'm
know.
with you.
yeah.
You're not a unicorn in
I've
this
got a
room.
rough idea of what it is, and I'm not
It's a TV
Yeah.
show, right? I think it's a TV
I've not
show.
consumed it.
We're a TV show.
I do not.
But
either. I've
there's
just
some
heard
things in
about it.
common. There's some things in common. We are an ensemble TV show here
Yes,
in a way.
got a few of us.
It's
sitting
on
around.
YouTube. It's not on the biggest network. Actually, it's probably on the biggest platform on earth. So I don't know if they're on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're on YouTube, but we're kind
We
of a
are.
big deal
Well,
here.
Yeah.
Sucks for them then.
This is for sure
Sorry
though
to be-
the coolest thing I've been able to be a part of. So,
Yeah, well,
I mean,
dude,
this
that's
is awesome.
Sweet.
Thank you. Thanks.
I was
Oh
pumped
my
about this.
god.
That's gonna be
Sweet.
fun. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
A good time. You played
So
any
you're
rounds
starstruck
recently?
too, huh?
What's going on? Like,
Yeah, so actually, I just got back in town. I played Wednesday before we left at the local for Freak Show, which is always awesome.
We love
Hell
the
yeah,
local.
hell
We
yeah.
love the
And,
Love the local.
and
Freak Show.
then went down
Yes.
to Florida to spend time with the family for Memorial Day. We do a big bash. Everybody camps. There's 40 or 50 people there, and then we do a tribute to the fallen soldiers and everything.
Oh,
oh
Nice.
man, that's
Nice.
great. That's great.
Amazing.
Drink a lot of beer and play
Yeah.
a lot of cornhole and volleyball. And, yeah.
That's great. That's a great time, man.
God
Slip
bless
and slide
America,
flip
all
cup
those
is
things.
a good time.
Wait, what?
Slip
All right,
and slide flip cup.
I
You've never
played a
done it.
lot of flip cup
What?
I used to run a 240 person dodgeball league in
Nice.
Los Angeles, and we would have like 120 people at the bar, and we'd do these flip cup games. Would be
Yeah.
like 50 people long,
Yeah.
and we just have these crazy races, but
Yeah.
slip and slide.
So I've got a buddy of mine, Kenny, back in Jacksonville, and he's got an old, like, the billboard signs. They're like
Yeah.
they're like tarp material,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so he's got a piece of one, and it's like 40 feet long, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so you get a team. There's two teams, and it's like relay races. And you tag one in, you run as fast as you can, slide all the way to the end. And you get up to the table, you flip, you drink, you flip, and you run and tag somebody else in. And,
Oh my
That's
God.
just
I think that
so
sounds amazing.
Best thing
Yeah.
ever. That
Yeah.
In your
sounds
bathing suit.
amazing.
oh yeah, well, whatever you got on, anyway.
Yeah.
So, have there been any accidents from this kind of drinking
Yeah.
and sliding?
Yeah, so my father-in-law.
Slip and slide.
So my father-in-law
Sip and slide. That's right. Sip and slide.
has this redneck paradise set
Slip
up in his
inside.
backyard. He's
Yeah,
got like 5
yeah.
acres in the back of it. He's got the pool and the hot tub and the volleyball court and all this other stuff. And so he has a sign because everybody goes hard. Everybody
Yeah,
plays volleyball as hard as they can. They give it all they got for flip cup. They give it all they got for. So he has a sign when you walk to the backyard. He's got this little bridge that goes over a ditch, and he calls it the bridge to paradise. And on the bridge to paradise, there's a sign: "Is not responsible for any accidents past this point."
The river Styx. Don't pay the ferry.
Yeah, I don't
very
think I've
smart.
ever come home without a broken toe or something.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Yeah.
And you keep going, so it must be fun.
Can't get enough of it.
There's
my gosh.
some shenanigans to be had back there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you notice when I leave, I walk with a limp. It's my big toe on this. this year.
How'd you break? Are you serious?
Oh my
Ah,
gosh.
so what happened? What happened?
Intense.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not the best volleyball player in the world,
All right.
but I have the strongest effort of anybody out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Just running around,
A+ for
diving
effort.
and stubbing your toe in the ground, and yeah. It's
Great.
Oh man, was it something where you knew something happened with it, or you just really woke up
Yeah.
in the morning? You're like, I think I broke my toe.
Oh no, you knew. I knew. Yeah, I knew. But you're not allowed to get hurt there, so you just keep going.
I mean, also breaking a digit's not the worst thing. I've broken pinkies before. It's just it sucks, but what can you do? You
Yeah, I
just
mean-
buddy tape it, and then you're
Just
you know,
limp.
Buddy
keep
tape
going.
it.
Limp
That's
your way
funny.
along.
That's actually what you have to do when you pinkies because you
Yep.
can't set them.
That's
right.
So both I've
Right.
broken both
Fingers
of my
and toes.
pinkies, and they both like fit perfectly with the next finger
Oh,
over.
yeah.
They probably grew
Because,
together.
Yeah, they did. Like the pinky,
Literally.
like literally it looks.
Yeah.
My pinky's kind of like.
Oh yeah,
It's exactly
it literally
fits.
does.
I never noticed
Yeah.
that before, how they do fit together.
Yeah, they all go.
Yes.
kinda
It's the
do.
spot.
It's the
Yes,
same
they
for
do.
toes, Kyle. I want to know.
How are your toes? Tell us about your. It's
Kinda let
it's
it dangle
becoming
there
that kind of
until it's not
podcast.
dangling anymore.
So, is it one of those? I was going to ask: is it one of those situations where if you show any pain or weakness, your dad's like, "Your grandfather lost both arms
Yeah.
and still killed Nazis in World War II. You should slide again." You
Doesn't
know?
even have to speak. You know what I mean? You just know. He just looks at you with those knowing eyes, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Not today, son.
yeah.
Not today."
What did you say about the volleyball earlier? You were like, "This is leave your feelings." Or
Yeah, that's what we all call it.
What did you
It's
say?
Leave your feelings at home volleyball. Everybody goes
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hard.
Feelings at home.
They'll be hollering at each other. All everybody knows nobody means it personal. But some of the stuff comes out. It's kind of rough. You know?
Oh, yeah.
But
Really?
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We
You know,
do.
rec sports can be like that. It's like you're the defensive tackle where you're like the nicest guy off the field, but
Yeah.
then when you're there, like I'm gonna kill your grandma. You know, it's like that kind of energy.
There's
you know?
always
Oh my
those.
gosh.
There's always those.
It's just like it's a little like you get into it, and it's not personal, but it's like I'm gonna throw this ball as hard as I can at you.
There's always those couple people that get done. And it's like, hey, I was just in the moment.
I was
just thinking in the moment is I was just. Didn't mean it. I just meant it in the moment, but I don't actually.
I don't mean you actually suck at volleyball.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
You suck,
but you don't suck in general. That's,
What do you hug it out, drink it out? What do you do?
We drink it out.
Yeah. I didn't literally mean in your face when I slammed the ball in your face.
Yeah.
I didn't really mean that. Like
I didn't mean to hurt you, but
I didn't mean to break your nose, but it's not personal,
my
buddy.
goodness.
You know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
hey, well, listen. I think as songwriters, we're pretty tough. I mean, we've heard
I
a
think
lot
so.
of things. We've heard a lot of no's.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You know.
Great
Still waiting on a
transition.
yes, to be
you should
honest.
host a podcast.
We heard a lot of no's.
No thanks, but I appreciate it. That's a nice compliment.
Oh, so I mean, but you got like a major yes in the last year or so, right? You got that big cut.
What's that
That
feel
big
like?
was
Christmas
fun.
cut.
That was fun.
super.
Okay.
Tell us
sick.
about that. I don't know about this. Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, honestly, I didn't ask the question, so I didn't get yes. I just got the email that you wish for, right? And then you
heck
just
yeah.
always wish for that, even when you get it. It just was, the subject line was John Party cut Christmas in the Keys, and I was like,
Oh my gosh! Congratulations!
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't already know that. I feel like I
very,
should.
very
but
grateful,
wow.
very grateful. Yeah, I didn't really do anything for it except show up in the room. Like somebody else pitched it, someone else
Oh,
made the
there you
beautiful
go.
work tape.
Very cool.
It's amazing.
I mean, you helped write the
Congratulations.
song, though, right?
That's all I did
Yeah.
was. And
Well,
honestly,
you made it
that's
sound
all-
like you didn't. You just sat in the room, but you
No,
You contributed.
you wrote the song.
I
you helped
freaking
write the song.
showed up
I
in
know.
the room.
By the way,
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't know Carrie, she's very. What am I trying to say?
I don't know. What are you
You have a
trying
very
to say?
high standard when it comes to lyrics, and I
That's a
think
very
I
nice
mean
way
that.
of
I mean that in a very good way. Like you
She's tough.
really
She's tough. She's tough. In
you
the
fight for
business.
Take it
stuff,
all.
and I think it's. I mean, it speaks for itself.
That's
Mad
the best
respect.
person to
I'm
be
the
in the
same
room
way.
with.
Mad
Yeah.
respect. It's got to be good. It's
Yeah.
got to be good.
You have a high
It's got
standard.
to be
I
the
think.
best you can do.
Yeah.
I think in the room, and I think the lesson in that I learned that I think everybody knows, and if they don't, now you're going to have no excuses. But that's all we can do is create.
Yeah.
And we have to do everything that we can do. Create the song, go through the feelings and grab the song that comes out of anything in your life, and make the song, write the song, play the song, learn the song, sing the song. Like even I'm not really a singer, I'm more of a writer, but I've learned that that's important. But everything else, not up to you. There's nothing it's just not there's only so much you can do, and you do everything that you can.
Yeah.
And then everything else is out of your control.
I love that. There's nothing worse than being in a room with people writing that are just trying to write a song for the sake of writing a song.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
Like that they don't want to break it down. They don't want to, chew it up. They don't want to rewrite or anything like that. And they just want to say they wrote a song that day.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than that. So
I
love that.
I can't stand that. Like I'm not here to play. I'm here
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah.
I'm here to win.
Girl, yes.
Like,
I love that.
I'm here to
Yeah.
write good songs. And there's something to be said about that part of it. I was talking to I was talking to you about this.
Oh,
There's times within your writing career where you're just, I forget what you called it, but you're just like grinding it out. You're just writing to write, like you're getting those numbers. You're building your catalog. That's what you called it.
yeah,
where you're just doing the grind. But like I think everyone in this room has gotten past that point.
Yeah.
So you got to be on similar playing fields with other people that you write
and
with.
that's
you
part
know?
of rising up. But a lot of it in the beginning, the reason I was pushed so hard by my mentors was because they wanted me to write it out, and build writing skill sets, so I could walk into a room and hopefully contribute in any situation.
Very
Yes.
thankful to his mentors, because when it comes to skill sets, top of the game.
Oh my gosh. Incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Fantastic.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And it was definitely through the fire. My mentors threw me right in. And so I'm very grateful for them. They didn't have to, but they believed in me, and they pushed me really hard. At one point, they wanted me to write 15 times a week. Wow. three times a day, and I was fortunate enough to have the open space to do it. Things worked out in life, so I just did that, and after a while, I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so, but once I reached enough numbers, then they left me alone.
Well, that's the point. Like,
Yeah.
I think that, the 1,000 hours or whatever. But
Right.
At some point, like in the beginning, it's quantity, because that's how you figure out like who you are, what you want to say, what's good, what's not, things like that. And at some point, and I could not tell you when this was in my writing, but at some point you tip from quantity to quality.
Yes.
You do.
And then you hear people, like, I remember hearing people say, well, I wrote like 40 songs last year. And I'm like, I wrote 40 songs last month.
Yeah.
Like, what on earth are you doing?
Exactly.
And then you realize, like, if they're a beginner writing 40 songs a year, I'm like, okay, have a nice hobby. And then when you hear pros that only have to write 15 songs because they've got the Midas touch at that point.
Right.
They're like,
Yeah.
I would like to know how many songs Ashley Gawley writes, though, because, I mean, he's in on
In
everything.
his peak, 300 a year.
Yeah.
So, at his peak?
At his peak, yeah.
Really?
So that's almost one a day.
Almost one a day.
Yeah.
That's one a
how
weekday.
That's how he got his 80 number ones.
Well, I was going to
That
say, I
surprises
bet
me.
he's not way off of that now, though. I mean,
He's still churning.
Getting in a lot of rooms,
Yeah.
writing songs.
Yeah,
you know.
but when he was really like hitting, it was 300 a year that he was always after. He probably still close. You kind of reach a point
Interesting.
where you are going for quality, and you rise up with people, and you put yourself in the room with higher quality. A writer, which generally means you're all strategic when you walk in. You're all pushing each other, because we need to push each other. We need to demand more of ourselves. And so that's why, though we do still have volume, we're still trying to get something with better quality, bringing our skill sets together. That's what the collaborative process is to bring with the strengths
Exactly.
you have to add to mine, and vice versa.
There's also like the personal dynamic to it too. It's like you have your own skill set, but also co-writing is such it's a relationships business, and so
real.
songwriting is such a personal thing. It's like you got to get to know people like right away.
Yeah.
You got to either there's no intimacy in the writing team, then how are you going to tackle these like really heart-wrenching and or just like be able to tap into like happy stuff without it being cheesy, without knowing a little bit about each other personally. So it's like there's that angle to it as well. You're learning how to you're doing that, like whatever, the 10,000 hours of learning how to write and learning how to write a hook, and how to do what's the rhyme scheme and all that stuff. But you also have to learn how to work with other people and what types of people you tend to work best with. And that's another, I think that's a whole other like track there.
That's the whole
Yeah.
thing of be a good hang.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yes.
go in there
Yes.
and just be willing to have a great time. You know? And not every write is awesome. Like sometimes my freaking editor comes in with me, and I mean, and I'm gonna be, I will be full disclosure.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. Like, I had a co-writer who's a pretty big writer, literally call me afterwards and go, "You're a great writer, and I love you to death, but." Hear the but in his voice.
boy.
Like,
Oh, no.
and you know what? Can I just tell you how much I appreciated that they called me, and we're just like, just in this ride, I just felt like just cramping creativity, and we've had these conversations, and I'm like, yeah, dang, I need to watch that.
Yeah.
I can get so intense about like, but it's got to be right and it's got to make sense and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, it's got to be created first. Like make the baby and then raise the child.
Well, I
like,
think-
Ooh.
Does
So there's
that
that.
analogy.
does
Yeah.
Editor Carrie have a name?
Song babies.
Maybe.
Beyond.
Does Editor Carrie have like
I don't know. She doesn't. But we should
you-
name her and
you
kick
should
her
name
out.
Editor Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, should.
What's
yeah.
that? What would be a good name for Editor Carrie?
Oof. Not welcome
Miranda,
here.
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the first one that came
Miranda
to mind.
Earl.
I don't know.
Miranda
I
Earl.
don't know. We should definitely.
Oh my
actually, that
gosh.
would actually be super helpful, because then when we have the run-ins with her, we could just be like,
Get out of here, Miranda.
It'll come
It's,
to
"Here's
you.
the door."
It'll come to you. The name. Yeah.
But honestly, like, yeah, I'm very open to correction and stuff like that, and I very much value my relationships and co-writers.
I think
Yeah.
to
she does show up.
to everybody's
everybody.
point earlier that you're talking about, you can do all the work ahead of time and you can be completely prepared when you walk in the room, but you have to have the ability to let your guard down and be able to get to know somebody else really quickly if you've never written with them before, and be able to allow them to get to know you really quickly if you've
Yeah.
never written before. So to the point of being a good hang, it's not just, being a nice person or cool person or whatever. You've got to be open to being vulnerable or being, honest about things, so that they have the opportunity to get to know you, and vice versa, because otherwise you're just going to sit there and look at each other and say, well, I got this idea. What do you think about that?
You know what I mean? Like, I have to say though, a new phenomenon for me is getting calls from like a publisher, and I have an artist coming in. They'll say, I have an artist coming into town. I want to set you up with this artist. They're like here for a day. And so
I don't get those calls. So.
Yeah. Well, it took it's only taken 15
years. It's only taken 30 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 15 years to get here, get up to this point. So I feel very blessed. You know, you kind of reach this level and you feel like, oh, I think I crossed the line when you start getting these calls.
Yeah, you used to wish for that, right?
I did.
Now
We all did.
It feels different.
Right? And so, but what is interesting about this situation is you have to be prepared and you have to immediately open up.
Right.
And you have to really be ready to like bring it.
Yeah.
Because you're 3 hours. That's all you've got, and this artist is gone. Yeah. And you have to walk out with something that they feel good about. And so there's a lot, like you said, there's preparation, and that's the homework times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in getting prepared and in like studying the artist and all that, these are things that I learned. Once I was thrown into the fire, I'm like, gosh, I got to know what they sound like. I got to know what they like. Yeah. Read about their life. And there's all this other stuff, and you're in this new situation. But when you do get to know them, this is a little tip I guess I learned, was that you do get to know them beforehand, then you can talk about their life, and they bring their guard down.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of things you have to do very fast.
That makes sense, yeah.
When you're thrown in like that. Of course, I always like the challenges and stuff, so I live for that. Yeah. And so it's like, all right, I'm a little nervous, but we can do this. But that's an interesting, you all are going to hit that point probably. We're all going to hit it. We're all going to be there where we're just going to be asked on the fly to write like that. And so that's now I understand why my mentors were having me build these skill sets and be in so many different situations that I can read the room when I walk in, try to make it as comfortable as possible, and be, just, if I need to, run it. If an artist has a vision, let them run with the vision. Help them get their vision and their story out. And so it's just been an interesting phenomenon to reach that level and understand I got to walk in ready to go. We've got to bring it.
I love that. And the homework that you have to do to be able to walk in and read the room correctly.
You do.
You know what I mean?
You have to be prepared.
Read the room before you write the song.
Yes.
That's cool.
Exactly. That was one of my favorite things about when I had my publishing deal was one of the couple of the projects I was put on was I was brought into artists that there was no research to do with them. They were moving to Nashville and they were starting from the ground up. And so I got to sit with them, and I had one co-writer with me and just listen to their stories. And they didn't write, they just told the stories, and I wrote their stories.
Yeah, that's great.
And oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. And it was such a neat experience. But I've been independent for quite a while now, and I'm shopping around for the next one. It's about time, but there's benefits to either. But that is one thing I did miss in this independent phase was getting those kind of calls. It's a whole different thing.
It is. But that's part of what you were talking about earlier about as you rise up, you're going to find yourself in these different situations. And once we've done it so much, believe it or not, you'll be prepared for those who haven't been thrown into that situation. You'll be ready when you walk in. A little nervous, but you'll be able to do it. So
that's awesome.
I believe in all of you. I believe in you. I believe you can write.
That's hilarious.
There's the new opening.
I'm sorry, everybody. Sorry. That was out of line, Scott.
Wow,
the new title of the podcast.
We're almost half an hour into it, and we haven't even used that yet. So that's really good.
That's a new record for Scott. A new record for the longest time.
The longest time without that.
Without pressing that button.
Well, yeah, I feel accomplished now. I feel like
not to miss the entire point, though. I do appreciate that share.
Absolutely.
I mean,
totally.
I just literally moved some things over on my, my goals board or whatever, my vision board, and get calls from publisher to write.
Yeah.
I think that's valid.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's killer.
Not something you can necessarily control, but just putting things out there and whoever's listening.
Another way to get those kinds of calls, not necessarily from a publisher, is I've been in a few pitch meetings like NSAI and TSAI and stuff. And when producers come in and listen, and pick up your songs and stuff, I've connected with a few producers that they have artists that are looking for those songs or want Nashville songwriters to connect with. So that's another way to do it. Not that is way it could be more accessible is to go through producers as opposed to publishers. I've done that.
Different door.
See, you
It's
put
like a
that on the
different
vision
door.
board,
Yeah.
and immediately there's an idea.
Yeah,
I was
that's
talking
another
to,
one too. Yeah, it's great.
Jamie Grooms, I'm sure you know him very well. I'm sure everybody does, but he's an incredible writer. And I was talking to the effect of what y'all were talking about. He got a call from somebody at Warner, and they, I guess kind of trying him out, set him up with all these rights and everything. And he says, it's an amazing opportunity, but it's stressful because they'll book your calendar out for a month, and you, to your point, have to do the homework before every single one of those rights and figure out who it is. And as those people get interchanged, because schedules get conflicted or whatever, he's like, it's stressful because it's not just knowing what you're going into. You also have the added pressure of you're the one you're the one getting.
They're bringing you in
You're
as
the
the
tryout.
expert. You're the expert.
Yeah. So,
And they're going to hear all those songs, and they'll be judging them, and it's like no
Right.
pressure at all.
yeah. So it's what you live for, right?
Right.
I mean,
What we
for
all
real.
live for.
Yeah.
We're all
I
praying
think
for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's no controlling the chemistry in the room and things like that. So you do everything you can on the back end, and then you go in there, and on that day with that group of people, with the titles that come out, there's so many things that are just going to impact whatever comes out of the room that day. It's like a recipe. Maybe somebody forgot the baking powder, and now you've got like pancakes instead of cupcakes. I don't bake for that exact freaking reason. I'm not gonna lie.
You have to be so exact.
My
So
wife
exact,
is the best
yeah.
cook in the world.
Oh, cooking I can do, but baking no.
She's not a baker. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
no.
She made brownies the other day, and she made them out of cupcake mix. And I was like, "This is like little baby, square cakes."
Oh,
Like, I
yeah.
was like, this
Cake's
is-
good.
I
Cake's
like
good.
it. I like
don't
it,
hate cake.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
I had 2
upset with it.
cupcakes tonight.
But it ain't the same, right?
No, it's not a brownie.
is not.
But no, she can cook you. I mean, I'm telling you, that's the best cook on the planet is my wife.
So is she gonna?
I put on a lot of weight.
Yeah, when's the restaurant opening
Yeah,
up?
when is?
We're
I would
actually
like-
talking about trying to get her a food truck.
Yeah, so what would
do
the food
that.
truck be like?
Yeah.
Like, what kind
Yeah.
of food would it be?
So she's trying to toss around different ideas. She makes some great like shrimp and grits type stuff,
Ooh,
But,
Alright.
Louisiana
Damn, that
stuff.
sounds good.
obviously Southern cooking is
Yeah.
is the main
Lowland
stuff.
cooking?
Yeah.
If you need some
Yeah.
guinea pigs for that food
would-
truck,
I
See,
can taste
our-
test
We might have to
Yeah, we can,
with live from the
the
food
podcast.
truck.
I could
Yeah.
arrange
Live from
that
the food
for
truck.
you.
I can
you
put
know.
I can put a song or a video of me playing music up there, and I'll get like 14 people that like it or whatever. She puts a picture up of what she makes for dinner every night, and she'll have like 283 likes in like 5 minutes, and I'm
Man.
Wow.
like, man,
Everybody eats, I guess.
yeah.
You
Gotta
gotta,
be a way
you gotta
to
write some songs for
leverage
her,
that.
some food songs
Put
for
one of your
her.
cuts on.
Write
Have
some,
her put your
biscuits and
Yeah,
gravy.
have your
write a
songs
song called
Yeah.
Biscuits and
behind
Gravy,
it.
and then
Yeah.
she
Next
does your
album.
music.
Next
There you
album's
go.
gonna be biscuits and
There's your
gravy.
Your whole
Yeah.
every single
Shrimp and
album's
grits.
gonna be
Shrimp and
Shrimp and
grits.
yeah, shrimps and grits. There you go.
We're not coordinated at all.
Shrimp and grits.
And there it is,
You have your
everybody.
food truck.
That's the name of our
Now
episode.
we're like
Yeah.
literally
shrimp
cooking
and
with
grits.
gas.
Shrimp and grits.
Well, we do need catering for our episodes.
There we go.
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
for the
There we go.
podcast.
We do.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be pretty sweet.
Apparently, you
Some
didn't get the
free
memo. We were,
advertising.
I didn't.
you didn't get the memo.
I didn't get the memo,
We
yeah.
expect the guests to provide the
Yeah.
catering.
Yeah.
It's just part of the deal. It's we don't write the rules, but we do kind of make them up sometimes.
We're gonna have you on the podcast. We're gonna need T-bones
Yes,
and
yes.
ribeyes.
or at least a pizza.
Yeah,
With wine pairings.
yeah,
Low budget stuff. You know.
yeah.
That would be
This is
awesome.
So, how long have you been in town now?
Oh, I have been here. I just had my 3rd anniversary on May 6th.
Congratulations. That's
Wait,
Yeah.
we've been in town about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
did we move here the same month? Like,
When did you move here?
I was here December of 21.
Okay, so no. I
yeah.
was May of 22.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was here for a few months before
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Okay.
Can we just acknowledge the fact that you've been here for 3 years and you have a major label cut?
Hell
Like,
yeah.
It was
That
a very
is
nice kiss.
Double
Yeah.
applause for
Insane,
that.
Carrie. That seriously, I cannot let that pass by. That is
Yeah, okay.
insane.
Yeah,
I
that's
would be
awesome.
on top of my roof.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
You're
I mean, I was
doing it,
coming
man.
in.
You're doing it.
Well, it was definitely a confirmation. I took it as a confirmation. I don't know if it was, but
Yeah.
I had been coming into town like every month for a week for a couple of years before COVID. And then COVID obviously put the kibosh on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back in like July of 21 and I was like, man, I got to move here. I was going through a divorce and I was like, I might as well just not even be in Florida anymore. So yeah, I moved here as soon as I could find a place. And yeah, I got that email about 7 months later. It was like February of 23 and we couldn't say anything until Party's people put everything out in October.
Wow. And it's Christmas, you said.
Christmas
and Christmas
song.
is timeless. People listen to that forever.
Every
That's
year.
even
That's cool.
better,
That's
really.
very
Yeah,
cool.
look
We
at
got
Mariah
so
Carey.
lucky with that album
yeah.
too because he toured it. I got to see him sing our song on the Opry stage. Which
That's
was
cool.
Incredible.
How special.
Wow.
Incredible.
An amazing
Yeah.
That literally gave me
And then-
chills.
Oh,
That literally gave me
It
chills.
was surreal. It was incredible. And then last year he toured the album again.
Wow.
And we heard that he was looking for Christmas songs
Mhm.
like during the year or whatever and kind of didn't pitch anything or I didn't get any cuts or whatever. But I guess he didn't do the album again, but he just toured that one. And so, got a royalty check last month for it too. So
Yeah.
That's
There we go.
awesome.
Congratulations.
yeah,
Yes.
so very grateful to John
Congratulations.
Party. And I got to tell him that after the Opry thing, he had a gathering afterwards for anybody who bought the CD at the gift shop. So I quick went and bought a CD.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't
I did
like
that.
it
That's
wasn't like a
funny.
photo
A few
meet
times.
and greet or anything
That's
like
funny.
that.
Is
But
it?
you got
Yeah,
to
yeah.
ask questions, and I was like, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to thank you for like rocking my world.
Isn't that
basically.
It's
It
amazing.
was
How cool.
Really cool. It was very cool.
So a very
Yeah.
well-known secret of me is
Yeah.
I have a Superman onesie that I frequent on.
I did
on-
not know that secret, Kyle.
Yeah, well,
wow, I can't
it's-
get that out of my head.
Yeah, so if the day I get that email, I will be on top of my roof, standing like Superman, and having somebody blow a fan at me.
Oh, that's
That's
I
amazing.
will,
But why-
please call me. I will hold
Hang
the
on.
fan.
Hang on, so
I
why
will also
why
tell you not to jump.
why do you
Yeah.
have to wait until that day to do that?
I do it all
why
the
the
time,
delay?
but that's going to be the
That's
main
going to be
one.
on video.
That was gonna be the main
okay.
one.
Life
good.
is short.
Yeah.
Please document this.
We went.
Please.
Yeah. I feel like now I missed a major opportunity
Yeah.
to
They're
like
gonna-
superwoman that.
I have to tell this story now. We went on the
goodness.
on a writers retreat, just me and some buddies, and we were hanging out by the fire and goofing off and everything. And I went inside; they had no idea. And I went inside and I put on my Superman onesie and my boots and my hat. And I came out with a new beer, and
Oh my God.
I just sat there by the fire like this and drinking my beer.
Oh man.
It took them all a minute. It's dark, and they all look around. They're like, "What in the?"
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No,
Is there
it's
something in this beer? What's going on here?
It's Kyle with the beer. Kyle with his beer.
Super Bush, Super Bush Light.
Super Bush Light.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna think you're insane anyway. So why wait?
Yeah, it's might as well.
Just throw it on out there.
That's how I got
agree
it.
with John- I agree with John, man.
Viral
Life is
content,
short.
man.
There's some pictures up there on the web.
There are.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
On the gram.
You admit that?
I was sitting in the living room playing a song in my onesie.
Are you talking like a pajama onesie?
Oh yeah,
Like,
full-fledged.
does it have a hood?
No, it has a cape.
Cape.
Yeah,
It has
Yeah,
a
you
cape.
got it.
Superman.
Yeah, it's
Having a cape's
pajama
good.
onesie. I've got
Now I
two
have-
of those. I have a
Oh
giraffe
my
one.
God.
Yeah, now I
I
have
have one
an
that's a
elf one.
pinata. Like, yeah.
I have an
onesies are
elf
fun.
one. I'm like Will Ferrell in the elf because I'm tall, right? So I have this elf one, and then I have like the hat sits up like brushes the ceiling in my little house.
Do you-
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
Do you enjoy just putting these things on and wearing them around?
I don't mind making.
Well, I know
a
what
fool
to
of
get you for
myself. I like-
Christmas, Scott. I'm going to get you a onesie.
Onesies, actually, onesies are the best.
I
They're the
really kind of like that.
They're so
onesies,
comfy.
They're the best Halloween costume.
Yeah.
That
ever, right?
too.
I had
So
a,
easy.
I
Yeah,
had a
until you have
dinosaur
to go to the
costume
bathroom.
that was like my default Halloween costume for like 6 or 7
Yeah.
years in Los Angeles. I would just be like, one year I'm like, I put a tux underneath it, and I'm like, I'm the fancy dinosaur.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next year I'm like I put something slightly different on, and then I'm like, I'm a different kind of dinosaur.
I love
But it's,
that.
I have not seen you in a dinosaur costume.
I
So
actually need
next
to get,
episode.
Yeah.
Seriously, though,
this
can we have a
Halloween, I need to
onesie
dress up.
episode?
Yeah, yeah.
I will,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch what
You're
you
coming
ask
back for
All
the
right,
onesie
all right,
episode.
yeah.
Do you have a
Please.
We should
onesie,
book it.
Carol?
We gotta book it.
Carrie?
I do-
Carol.
I
I'm
do
sorry.
not,
I combined your
Carol.
names.
Is that
Carol.
Carol?
I'm so
Carol.
sorry.
I
Carol.
Editor.
That's your
editor's
editor's
name.
Carol.
Carol.
That's it.
Carol.
That's it.
Carol, like
Carol.
Christmas
Carol
That's
Earl.
funny.
Yeah.
Christmas Carol in honor of your first major label cut. There we go.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Okay, can we just circle back to okay, the onesie thing? I don't, but
We're going to get you one. You and
But you're
Scott, we're
open
going to get
to
you
it.
one.
I will
You're
shop
open
for
to the
purpose.
idea.
I've got spares if you need.
Could you imagine? Like, I would have to roll it up 50 times. My calves would look like I've been to the gym. Actually, thanks.
Maybe
Can I
that's
borrow your. I need.
Yeah.
The calves would be good.
That's great. That's
I
great.
would like to circle back onto your cut. You just said something earlier while we were talking about mine. Like, you said something. You have a cut. You have a CD. You said you bought your CD. Something like that. No.
What?
What happened? Where?
No, when
when?
I was
You
talking,
told a story about
I'm
you bought a
lost.
CD
Yes,
and you
and then I
talked to
thought
John
that-
Party.
Whoa,
yes,
hold
and
on.
I thought you said something about that's what I did with mine.
I don't know.
Did you buy a John Party?
Now is the moment where you make up a story about.
That's what I did with my onesie for Halloween. I don't know. I do have a.
With
I
your
don't.
CD. I thought you said you
I don't know.
you also
No
bought a
CD.
CD that had your song on it, or did you put out a CD at some point?
I do not know.
Well,
I
she
have no idea what
has
you're
had
talking
Hallmark placements.
about. Yeah.
That's
Like-
incredible.
Yeah.
She's
I mean, that
she's
is-
got some Hallmark stuff
That is
going
on my vision board. So you and I should talk and see if we can.
Girl, I
stories
think we
about
should work
things.
together. I think
I
we
would
should
love
do a little
that.
music together. That'd be great. I'd be into that. Yeah.
I'd be too. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk.
Well, let's talk. I do
we'll have
have.
our people call each other's people.
Well, I'll have people. Yes, I love that.
You talk to Carol.
I
Carol,
do-
Carol,
Carol
does
is-
Carol also
Yeah.
do your booking, or is she, is she just the editor?
Yeah, Carol.
Carol won't book you. I mean, that's
I'm scared of Carol, to
Big
be honest.
fan.
I'm a little scared
Yeah,
of her.
you don't want Carol.
We'll leave Carol at home.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
All right,
That
there we go.
sounds great.
I do
Sounds
have
like it's for the best.
I do have a little fun John Party story though. So when I was bartending at Old Red downtown, Blake Shelton's bar, I was picking up a friend from, I think he was working at Aldean's or whatever across the street, and it's like 4 a.m, 5 a.m, like Broadway's completely clear, and I'm just sitting in my car waiting for him to get out, and I look over and there's this, I don't even know how to describe it, this like float trailer thing that's all lit up with all these musicians and lights, and it's John Party just riding down Broadway playing a song, and he just looks at me while he's going by with all these cameras and stuff. I'm like, what is going on in the middle of the
John.
night? I'm like, what is happening?
Music
And
video.
he
Music
exactly
video.
he was filming
Yeah,
a music video, and my
Yeah.
car made it in the video.
That's
and
awesome.
yeah,
What song was it?
Girl, I do not remember. I will find that for you, and
would
I will
love
send it
to
to
go
you.
and see
But
your
I don't
car.
remember. It was there. It was
So-
there. It was the randomest. I'm like, what is happening? It looked so odd. It was very strange, and it scared me because there's no one in the middle of Broadway at 5
That's
a.m. There's
probably
no
why they
one,
were doing
and
it
I look
then.
over and there's
Exactly
lights.
why.
I'm like, what is happening? Like,
That's exactly why. Yeah.
It's amazing that you were actually
surprise.
I think he was messing with me. He literally was like, he's going
That's
staring
funny.
me in my eyes as he's going by.
He's probably,
He's
So
probably thinking,
funny.
they told me there would be no cars.
I was probably
anything. They
harshing
told me
his
to be here.
mellow. Maybe he was, mean mugging me. I don't know.
What did
That's
you
a
say?
very cool
Harsh and his
story.
mellow?
Maybe I was harshing his mellow.
What is it? Well, I don't know what that means.
Harshing his vibe.
Oh, okay.
Ruining
I got you.
his day.
ruining the moment.
Pissing in his Cheerios. I don't know. I could keep going.
Yes, I get that one. I get that
Or
one.
maybe he was bored. Maybe they're doing like 57,000 takes, and he's like, I need something to do, so I'm going to stare at people and scare them.
I guess. I mean, I was the only people.
He was probably looking at you like,
Stare at the person.
is there beer in there?
This was a long time ago, though. It was, before. I mean, things are crazy now. It was when Broadway used to, like, you could just walk around at night by yourself, and there was no one there.
Do not do
like,
that now.
Don't do that.
Do
Don't
not
do that.
do that
Don't do
now.
that now.
Holy cow.
Yeah, like
You
it was
crazy?
in the fun days.
You've
the
been
old
here.
days.
You've been here 15 years.
Over 20.
Over 20.
Yes.
Did you ever do the playing on the corner and stuff?
Of course
for
I
tips?
did.
I did
That was my first
when
gig.
they still
Busking.
allowed it.
Yeah, I busked. Yeah, when I
Yeah.
got here. And
Oh, they used to let people busk on
Yes.
Broadway?
Yeah.
Yep. Now you have to get a permit or nothing,
Yeah.
right? Is that how
Yeah.
that
Probably,
works?
I mean,
probably can't get a
so-
permit.
I can't
because you'd
think
be
that I ever
competing.
saw anybody busk there before.
Well, back
down there.
was a time where they were trying to get business to move on to Broadway.
Oh, right.
Well, they did a good job.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, they managed
Very
to fill it
successful
up.
project.
Yeah.
yeah, there's literally no space down there for anything. But there was a time where they were getting rid of old bad businesses. There were still like some strip clubs on Broadway, and the city wanted to get rid of those and try to clean up downtown. And they also they wanted tourism to grow. They wanted to bring money in, so they were trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
They were trying to bring businesses in to because there were a bunch of abandoned buildings down there on Broadway at one point, so it was pretty quiet.
So need people to kind of perk the place up.
Yeah, to build
that's kind of what the live music was for. Was
that's correct.
Kind of inject some vitality into kind of some dead blocks, kind of.
Exactly.
All right.
Now they just have one big company that owns all the
everything.
bars.
Yeah.
No,
it's
that's not
insane.
true. That's not true.
When I first
Most of
moved
it.
here, that was one of the things like on my list, right? I wanted to play on the corner for tips on Broadway in Nashville, right? It's just some cool thing.
It was a rite of passage at one point. You kind of had to do that to jump into Nashville.
So the first day I did it, I made like $40 in like an hour, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And these like
That's even good money for now.
these few ladies and
music.
guys or whatever took me out and took me around to the bars and were buying me drinks and everything. I was like, this is where it's at right
Free
here.
drinks
Wow.
and $40.
I go out the next day to that same stoop, and I think it's where I don't know. It's one of the big ones on the corner.
What corner was it? Like
Honky Tonk.
Second and
Rock?
Yeah,
down on Second
'cause
by
it was-
Hard Rock.
Yeah, it was a block up and on Bootlegger's side.
Okay.
But
Alrighty.
but I was over there, and I go the next day,
Honky
same
tonk.
time, did the same
Yeah.
thing, and I'm there for like 15 minutes, and this guy walks up, and he throws a penny and like it's like a fake jelly bean. I don't know what it was, but I still have it.
Fake jelly bean?
I still have
you
it.
still
It's
have
amazing.
Like a
I
glass
still-
jelly bean
I
or
still
something like
have the-
that? Or
Is
what
it like
was it?
is
It's
it in the
green.
pocket of your onesie, like one of your onesies? Is it like-
It's
How do you
Lives
know?
in the
Wait,
onesie.
wait,
it all comes back to the
the serious
No.
question. How do you know it's a fake jelly bean?
because I tried to eat it.
Oh, okay.
When I
You did
first
it.
when I
That was
first
ballsy.
when I first moved here,
Yeah,
I
you don't know what was in that jelly bean.
Yeah. When I first moved here, I slept in my Jeep. I took showers at truck stops. I lived at the Stadium Inn. Remember that place?
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that
Wow.
place.
I still have-
$12.50 a
Oh,
week.
no.
What?
But yeah, so I was
Yeah,
there, and
it
he
was frightening.
He
Oh,
tips
yes, it
me-
Very
was.
frightening.
He tips me a penny that was tails up and a jelly bean, and he says, "You got 15 minutes to get off my stoop." So I
Yes.
guess it's whoever.
Well, but here you're
You know.
correct. I was going to bring that up. There was you had to work your way in,
Yeah.
so you got the worst corners.
Yeah.
And then after a while,
Yep.
if you kept showing up, they respected you. So they're like, "We'll trade with you."
Yeah.
And so I finally
Dang.
worked my way to the best corners.
Yeah.
You know, but I also understood there were certain nights I didn't do that because
Yep.
they were already here.
I made friends
And
with a
so,
couple of the.
you got to work your way in, man, or they'll throw fake jelly beans at you and stuff.
Yeah.
So you know.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
So what other things could happen to you if you just don't follow the rules?
Oh,
They're like,
there'll be a whole big old uproar.
Oh, yeah,
and they'll
they
push
turn
you
it-
out, and then they'll call
Yeah.
the cops. Will get called over
They will
there.
fight
Yeah,
you.
it's a whole thing.
Yeah. You get hurt.
Downtown Nashville is a lot
yeah.
rougher than
A lot
it
of the-
is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Easy.
homeless people that used to live down there, like I slept under that bridge on First Avenue one time. There was a whole community down
There were
You were
one point, like,
dedicated, man.
I was
Dedicated.
and also broke. And
Hey, we all
but
been
no,
there.
there's a whole community, and that's where a lot of the homeless people would try and make their beer money. You know.
Oh, okay,
And-
so you're up against folks that are very desperate and
Begging.
and also
And they-
folks
they
that
will
are trying
fight
to do
dirty.
what I'm
They'll
trying
fight
to do.
dirty.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Yeah.
And so when they got up enough money, they'd either go to that one bar that had the buy one get one free pitchers of PBR for $5 or whatever, blow it all.
It wasn't Roberts, was it? No,
No.
Roberts is the.
No,
It used
that's
to have the
recession
car-
special. That's what you're talking
It was
about.
the
Recession
redneck
special.
place. I can't remember what it was called.
I don't remember.
But anyway,
They change out all the time.
Riviera.
yeah, redneck Riviera. Yeah,
Riviera.
and then
goodness.
if they got enough money, or in the wintertime, they would save that money and they'd go get a room at the Stadium Inn so they didn't have to sleep in the cold. And
But one
yeah.
point that underneath the bridge, there were 60 tents or
There was a
something.
whole
it was a whole
community.
city.
yeah,
At
it was,
one point.
I stayed there
Yeah.
one
Oh, yeah.
night. It was very uncomfortable. It was
Yeah.
very uncomfortable.
But they had the homeless at one point because I went from busking to working at one of the clubs I ran
Yeah.
in town for a while, and so I managed to work up a little bit
Yeah.
in there, and I did the Sundays behind the glass and where nobody listened, but I still made a couple tips and stuff like that, and so. But it was interesting about the homeless getting to know them because they, you just kind of they're there. You're
Yeah.
working downtown, you see them every night, and they. Many of them wanted to be homeless.
Yeah.
That was their choice.
yeah.
It wasn't like, and they told me that
Yeah.
because I'd be like, "What's your deal, man? There's mission up the street. There's
Yeah.
all this stuff." They're like, "No, we want this."
there was a guy that
I was
played-
surprised at
Yeah.
the
How many
amount
of
that
them?
want that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There was a
Yes.
guy that played mandolin down there, and I can't remember his name, but he played every day. He played the same stoop, he wore the same clothes, and he'd at some point gotten enough money to make some CDs or whatever. But he played there all day long, every day, And he had gotten it to where he had a little business, just enough to where he could get a room at the Stadium Inn, and he'd go back there. And I've talked to him 100 times, and he was like, "No, I'm living my dream. This is exactly."
It wasn't Velvet Thunder, was it? Was it Velvet Thunder?
I don't think I ever got it.
He at one point he would sit on second up around the way because he didn't like the riffraff of us.
Yep.
Of trading out. So he's like, he had his spot.
Yeah.
At one point in time, and I don't know who came up with this, but he was considered the #1 street performer in the world.
Wow.
And he made
He's good.
bank.
He was very good.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
Because he had this big R&B voice.
Oh,
He plays
that's
guitar
not who I'm thinking of.
and blues
Wait,
voice.
he's on second? He'd play on second?
He
Is
used
that
to
what
be-
you said?
Yeah, he's passed away, but he was up on second, like halfway
I
up.
remember
Remember
him.
Velvet Thunder?
Yes.
Isn't he awesome?
Oh my gosh, I remember him.
Thunder.
Yep.
Yes.
And he would sit there and all, but somehow he got to the top of this list. I didn't know that street performers could be rated.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I used to street perform on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, and I didn't know there was a rank.
Yeah, what was your ranking?
It was very
didn't even
low.
know there
It was
was
very low. I mean, busking teaches you so much about how to. The thing that I learned, and I busked for like 3 summers in Santa Monica, and I didn't have good songs back at the time, and I learned so much about. The thing that was really cool was at first I was like, I got to get a crowd.
Yeah.
I got to get people to pay attention to what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be validated. They need to listen to me, and otherwise I've kind of failed in a way.
Right.
And then I realized, wait, there's over time you just get so used. Oh, some people, they come, throw a buck or two in your case. They'll sit and watch you for a couple songs, then they'll be on their way. Other folks, they're too busy. They'll just kind of bob their head and they'll just be like, oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
And then some folks, they will sit and watch you play your whole set. They'll write some personal note.
Yep.
Drop it in your case, put like a $50 bill in there, and they're kind of a super fan, and these kinds of things happen. I had times where I would go out there and I'd make, like you were talking about, make some good money, play a 2-hour set, and the spots were very competitive on the 3rd Street Promenade too. It was all permitted out and stuff. It was kind of weird. It's a totally different system, it sounds like, but sometimes I go out there and make like $150 for like a 2-hour set, and I was feeling great, I was like, this is
amazing.
awesome. And then other times I'd go out there and it was windy, it was by the ocean, and so it was really cold sometimes, and then maybe like $12.
Yeah.
Something like for a full 2-hour set, and that doesn't feel so good, right? It's like, that was a waste of time. And then you'll have like some stories where if you go out and you're doing it enough, you'll have like, I remember there was this one time where I wasn't making very much money. I was playing all original stuff, and my original songs weren't good. The people that were killing it out there were just playing the same
Covers.
5 or 6 songs that were like the hit songs
Covers.
of that time, and they'd get these big crowds around them, and they had it all orchestrated. And
Yep.
it was great. Like going back, I probably should have done that. But anyways, I was stubborn. But I was out there doing my thing, trying my best with my brand new songs that I'd written all by myself. And I didn't really know about co-writing back then, really. And so I was trying my best. And I remember I was hot. I remember it was really hot out, and it was the middle of summer, and nobody was really paying any attention. And down the 3rd Street Promenade is kind of like this open mall. It's kind of like it's like a stretch of street where there's
Like the arcade here.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And so it was really hot. These high school students started walking by my whole setup. They were checking me out. They're like, oh, this is cool. They stuck around for a song, and they walked down the street. They were giving away free bottles of Sprite down the street. And so what they did was they all walked down.
Get a Sprite.
They all walked down. They got a Sprite, and they didn't have any money. They all got a Sprite. There was like 5 or 6 of them. They got a free Sprite. They brought it back to the case and dropped it in my case. Like so, and that was funny. I was
Got a
like
6-pack of
I was like,
Sprite?
you guys rock, man. Thanks for that.
That's awesome.
And so I got
That's
a 6-pack.
cool.
But then
The Robin Hood principle.
Then they went back. Then they went back and got another round of Sprite. And this. I'm not kidding. Like I got like 48 Sprites, but they just kept doing it. They kept going back and forth, and then like I had like a full like 2 or 3 or 4 cases of
They're probably
Sprite.
Could have
like,
started a small
amazing.
business on the
This guy
side,
does.
7
We're just gonna
Sprite.
go-
So you'll have
I like this case with Sprite.
Yeah, you'll have like
Big
dumb
joke.
stories like that, and I'll always remember that story because that's music. Like to me,
I wonder
that's
where they are now. They probably got kids.
who knows? They're probably, I mean
Feeding them
that's
Sprite.
You walk down the street on I don't know what it's like in other places, but Santa Monica is one of those places where like you walk down the 3rd Street Promenade and you could walk across 3 or 4 billionaires and you don't even know it. Like it's one of the wealthiest cities in the whole country, and so yeah, I mean those kids could have been they might be like really rich right now.
Yeah.
They might be crypto kings or whatever, you know.
That's crazy.
Who knows? They might own all the crypto.
Well, their house might have just burned
and
down in January. You just
I hope
don't know.
not. I hope not.
Yeah,
Those kids were
too.
they were really cool. I respected them. I was like,
that is cool.
that was
Even-
really
even
funny,
though they probably
and
thought it was
that
very
was your
funny.
way. That was your way of like showing me respect.
Appreciation, yeah.
You showed me appreciation in the way that I would have probably done it if I was,
Yeah.
young and.
I would have packed up my guitar and gone a block over and made a cardboard sign saying Sprite
for sale.
Yeah, Sprite for sale.
You
That's
beat
awesome.
$20 a bottle.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
could
know
have
who
sold
touched
that.
it.
I could have made back I could have made a lot of money doing
You
that.
could have.
help a brother out.
Yeah, seriously.
The personal notes you mentioned, that's
Yeah.
so neat. I never would have thought that you would get that busking. That would have meant more to
I've-
me than any
I have
amount
a
of
bunch
money.
of them.
For real.
I have them in a
Yeah.
You
scrapbook.
kept them all?
I kept them all.
That's
I kept all of them.
great.
I have some of them in a
That's
scrapbook.
so cool. Are
Yeah.
there's like, is
I
there
would
like
love to
something you want
see
to
that.
share from those notes?
Yeah,
Is it
good
like,
question.
is there stories or is it just people telling you they enjoyed your music? Like what's the essence of it?
I mean, I think that's the main thing is like, hey, I wasn't really expecting to hang out and check out your whole set. I don't remember. You know
You ever
what I
get a
have
song
to do?
idea out of him?
I mean, back then I wasn't really thinking that
Yeah.
deeply. I was kind of in the moment of like, oh, I'm this tormented. Oh, I'm in bad relationship. All
Yeah.
that stuff.
well, I
wasn't
will
really thinking about that kind
volunteer
of stuff,
to
but-
go through this with you and
yeah,
get
right.
song ideas.
I
You know, out of this. Especially one for the team here.
There's probably some good material there, but I will tell this one story though, and it's not directly related to. It is a note that I got, and it was music related, but it was not one of the notes that I got in my case. But I lived right off the 3rd Street Promenade because when I moved to LA, this is like 15 or 16 years ago. When I moved there, I was like, I want to be the next Jason Mraz or John Mayer. I want to go out there. I'm going to busk. I'm going to learn all this stuff. And so I was out there, and I lived in they're called bachelor apartments. There's no kitchen. It's just a room and a bathroom.
Oh, wow.
And so I had like
Interesting.
like a
Hotel.
hostel type of thing.
more or less. I mean, I was paying. It was crazy too. I was paying like $650 a month for like.
Wow,
And it
for a
was right
motel?
by the. It was a nice. That's
wild.
I
It
mean,
was.
technically, it's a hotel.
It was a really nice
We're in
area of
California.
town. It was
Yeah.
I was
California.
literally a
That's
5-minute
Yeah.
walk from the beach. It was.
Okay.
It was insane.
Location.
you have a Santa
I mean,
Monica address.
you don't-
people. This is worth.
You have no idea. I mean, the
sense.
same area. You probably have to pay like $2,500 a
on a
month
sweatshirt.
to live in. And so, but back then I somehow lucked out into this like rent controlled $650 a month place. And the thing, I think it used to be a hotel actually because it was like the way it was set up was every unit shared a door. And so the door was obviously like locked on both sides. They had padlocks on both sides and
Okay.
all that stuff. But I always shared a door with somebody, and I was in there like writing songs and stuff like that. And I'd never really met my neighbors because we all had different like entrances. There was 2 sides to the building, and you never really met the people that were on the opposite side. And so sometimes I'd have my bed. I lived there for like 8 years. Sometimes I had my bed set up next to the door. Sometimes I had my bed set a little further apart. But one time I think for a couple of years I had my bed set up right against the door, and I was doing my thing, writing songs and all that stuff. And then I remember when I moved the bed away, I saw a note that was under there.
Wow.
It was down by the door. Somebody had slid a note under the door, and
Really?
I didn't know it.
Wow.
And so I didn't know exactly when they left me the note, but I opened it up and it was like, hey, I'm moving out right now. I just wanted you to know that you have a beautiful voice, and it's been really wonderful being able to hear you perform and sing. It was just the sweetest, nicest.
is
And I was thinking to myself,
That is the coolest story ever.
I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this note, they're probably saying like, like why
Shut
were you
up.
so loud all this time? And then it was really cool. And
And then you never know who put it under the
Yeah.
door because you
Jason
don't know
Mraz?
when it was put under.
The kindness of strangers.
Wouldn't it be
For
funny
real.
if it was like
Correct.
Jason
Correct.
Mraz
At the same
It could have
time.
been.
You know,
It
or
could
You
have
never
somebody-
know.
John Mayer.
Could have
You know,
been.
it's like if
I
they're
did.
listening-
I'm pretty sure I saw John Mayer with a girl walking down the promenade, kind of bobbing to me when I was playing out there
Cool.
one
That's
time.
awesome.
But I wasn't sure if it was
Cool.
him, but it looked like
It was him.
It looked like him.
It was
but-
totally
been.
him.
If you think it was him, he was. It was him.
I
think
feel
it
it.
probably was.
I feel it in my
He's
gut.
a-
It was him.
He's a tall guy, and I'm pretty sure it was him. But
Totally opposite hotel story because that's way awesome.
I'm sure.
The Stadium Inn. Back to the Stadium Inn.
yeah, let's
That,
hear about
it all
Stadium
comes
Inn.
back to the stadium. And
So
the tetanus shot stadium.
the
Inn.
tetanus shot.
more than that, buddy.
Lots of diseases. Stadium
Yeah.
in.
Condom dispensers. I
they
get
were
it. I
they
get
were
it.
full or whatever. The rooms were too many bed bugs or whatever the problem was.
God.
But they put me in the room that was directly across from the counter, and it used to be the office, right?
Yeah.
So it had a glass door. like a push-pull door, like a Jiffy store would have, that they spray painted black, and then you have to have a key to open it or lock it or anything. So there's no like door lock or anything. So you go in, there's a black light in the ceiling.
Black light.
This is so classy.
I kid you not. But it was a huge room, right? Because it used to be the office. It had a little love seat in there. I'm pretty sure those were blood stains on the love seat.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't spray luminol
Do
in there.
not. Do not do it.
Don't do that.
It was a no smoking room, right?
Uh-huh.
The bed sheets and the quilt and everything had more holes in it than a piece of Swiss cheese.
Oh my gosh.
Man,
Cigarette
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
windows were so yellow you couldn't see out of them.
Were the sheets yellow too from the smoke and all that?
I just went with that was their natural color.
Yeah.
But I
Tell
slept,
yourself what you have to know.
I
Yeah, you
slept-
do.
I slept dressed. I can tell you that. But in the
Plastic.
bathroom, in the-
Wrap yourself in plastic
Yeah.
before you jump in
in the
bed.
bathroom, you
mummified.
couldn't take a shower because it couldn't get enough water pressure to go up, to the shower head.
What?
Because more water would come out of the wall
Oh.
behind the faucet than
That's
actually.
good.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
then there was
Have
a
that.
Oh, boy.
there was a 2x4 that held up the sink.
Man,
It was high
man.
class.
It
Very
was
high class.
It was very high class.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had to buy
Big
a
time.
Bible. And it cost me $5. I went out there I said, do y'all have any Bibles? Because I feel like I need some Jesus
They didn't
right
even
now.
have a Bible in the drawer.
No Bible in the drawer.
Okay, this is
so
low.
I go buy.
That's low.
Been
I go-
stolen and sold. Or
sorry.
it's been
So I-
used for
The
roll-ups.
Gideons.
I
They need to
paid-
get on that.
We're about,
I
we're
paid
about to
five-
find out why the Bibles are
I
missing.
paid $5 for this Bible, and this lady, I go to take it, and she won't let go of it. And she says, "Are you going to use it?" And I'm like, "I just paid $5 for it. I'm not. I mean, give me
What's
the
it got
Bible."
to do with
you know what I
her?
mean?
It's like, yeah.
So
Sweet
I'm
deal.
frustrated.
$5 for a Bible.
I'm
Wow.
frustrated with the situation. So I go in there, I lock the door, and I kind of just drop the Bible on the end table. Right? I kid you not. One of the legs just goes. The table doesn't fall, but one of the legs just goes. Doop. And I'm like, what am I doing here? But yeah, like when we'd get these
Wow.
crazy storms, the AC unit they would be like on the floor. Hotel AC.
Yeah, I know what
The
you're talking
rain
about.
blew in,
Yeah,
right?
the
The
rain
rain-
would-
Yeah, it would blow the thing in. I would come back because all I did.
Oh,
back
they'd be
then was,
wet. The sheets would be wet and all that stuff.
No, the bed was far enough
Oh,
away,
okay,
but
okay.
the floor and everything. But it would blow
Damn,
the thing
man.
in, and it would
Yeah.
be literally. I'd have to push it back up against the door to keep it from. Yeah,
The
it was
place
wild.
had to be condemned. I
Yeah.
mean, at some point
Yeah.
they had to.
Wow.
Oh, my
condemn it.
gosh.
That
It
is
was-
that is a never-ending source of interesting like
Mold.
story.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Disease.
Stories like
I could go on for days.
I mean mold too, but
Mold.
like
Diseases.
I wonder if
like-
people were using it as rolling paper or something. If that's why she was fighting you, there had to be something
idea.
there.
That's what
There
I was
had to be
thinking. Well,
something there.
They did hire
Lighting a
me.
fire.
They did hire me to watch the back door because they were sneaking. People were sneaking hookers and drug dealers and
yeah.
stuff in
Oh
the
yeah.
back door.
Oh yeah.
And then they
Sounds
hired
like
me
the kind
to-
of place.
Yeah, it's
You were
special,
actually a
special. They had
bouncer.
Middle Tennessee like wrestling in the banquet area. It was
Yeah.
not a banquet area. They used the lobby bathrooms as locker rooms. Yeah,
Well,
you'd see
they would
these-
have
Yeah.
illegal wrestling matches.
no,
or?
there would be a cop to come guard, so I guess it was legal or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
But
Like-
they would come out all oiled up and spandexed up and go out there and wrestle, and I'm like, I'm going to go walk around in circles for a few
Yeah.
hours.
Thank you for bringing back this
Yeah.
nostalgic part of Nashville
Yeah.
for
Wow.
me. Because
Wow.
wow.
It's good times. I could go for
Yeah.
days on that place.
Oh man.
Man.
No, but
So,
listen, these
I didn't get a
stories are
note.
amazing.
I got a knock on the door.
Yeah.
Somebody thought that I was looking for a drug deal, and they had the wrong room. But
Oh yeah, that's
wasn't that.
But-
That's
was,
really like, I have
was the
this
music-
Bible, dude.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
was the
You
music?
need
what-
Jesus. Let me preach at you for
They're
a
like-
second.
they're-
They'll be gone in a minute.
So
did
they're
you-
like, hey, you're going to take the drug package to the guy who's playing songs in the room.
I have
or
no
something
idea
like that.
because I
Like,
have no idea. But I got the
They're
knock.
wrong
Did you ask him
And
what he had?
you can't just open the door. You know what I mean? I got to unlock the door and then pull it open, and it was.
Did you
scary
ask him
subject.
like, so what do you got?
I'm glad it went well because that could have gone.
It did.
That could have gone bad.
I think
like
it only
you
went
know.
well because I was across from the actual the lobby
Wow.
counter.
Right?
Yeah, you're
Right?
a little
I was
protected.
up a floor or not. I don't
guess.
know if I
And you're not a small dude, so
No,
like that
no.
probably helped.
He
You
was,
know.
he was not small either. He was very large.
oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
If you think he was large,
He was a large
he
guy.
was
Was
huge.
that somewhere did you have a gun?
He had them
Or, like,
crazy eyes. You know what I mean?
Oh, the crazy eyes.
that feels like the kind of place where I'd want to own a gun.
Yeah,
Is that,
yeah.
Right?
That's one of those places.
And that's
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
Californian. Like you live in
Yeah.
California.
Yeah,
like,
that's
you say that. That's serious.
I'm originally from the Midwest, so
Well,
I
that's
was
true, that's
junior
true.
NRA
That's
and all
true.
that stuff. You know,
That's
so,
true.
But yeah, out in California, that's like guns
No,
are
no.
like a real. Like,
I couldn't live anywhere where I can't have a gun. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's
I feel like being able to protect yourself is pretty important.
Absolutely.
It's pretty important.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very true. America.
Wow.
America.
You guys like
Yeah.
really moved here and like literally lived
Prime
that whole
time
dream.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think a lot of people just don't get to have that experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I moved here knowing no one. I'm just like, I'm just going.
That's what I did.
I'm sick and tired of. I was in Maryland, and all the clubs and bars wanted us to be cover bands with no more original bands, and I was like, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to create original music. I want to be around that.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran us out up there. There wasn't a scene anyway. I knew at some point if I was really going to take this seriously, I had to go somewhere. I played a lot in New York and Soho, those clubs up there,
Right.
and actually did rather well in the hard rock and metal scene. I know, hard to believe, right? Used to have hair down to my
I saw
belt.
you on the
Yeah.
guitar back there tonight. Yeah.
Just jamming out. Yeah, that's
Wear
what
the
I see.
guitar around your knees and everything.
I did.
Yeah.
At one point, I was a bass player in a
Oh,
band.
yeah, definitely
And I
hanging
did
low.
I'm like everybody else is at this point has the
Yeah.
bass at their knees. So
All you got to do
I
is
just-
reach it with the fingertips.
Yeah,
man.
I did that. I don't know why, because everybody else did. I'm like, I got to do what they
Yeah,
do because
yeah.
it's the in thing. So it was
Interesting.
weird. Yeah, I had my little beanie cap on.
Interesting.
Yeah, looking like a convict. It was awesome.
I did the same thing. Though. When I woke up one morning and said, I'm leaving. And I packed
Yeah.
a sack of clothes, for whatever reason, 3 fishing poles and my guitar. And I had a Jeep at the time. And I just drove and I pulled into town. It sounds like a song.
I was about to
pulled
say,
into
you better
town
have written that song right now.
as the sun was going down. I saw the Batman building. And then I stayed. You know, I had $764 in my pocket when I
And this,
pulled.
You gotta
this is when
write
Scott
that.
goes, you were
Please.
lucky. You had a Jeep.
Yeah,
At least you could live in your car.
I did.
I had
for
some
sure.
tiny car I could
Yeah.
barely fit in myself, but yeah, it's pretty amazing that we just did this because
Yeah.
our dreams were that strong to drive
Looking
us
back on
here.
it now, like, isn't it crazy to
Yeah.
think?
Yeah,
you know?
and then I walked like that first week. I was like, "Hey, where do I go?" And they're like, "Go to see Debbie Champion at the Broken
Oh,
Spoke."
yes,
Boom.
Debbie.
Yeah.
Oh,
At
we
the
love Debbie.
And I was here to be in bands. I wanted to be a touring musician, and I walked in and I was like, "This is the weirdest thing ever."
Yeah.
Just they're lined up there.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
But-
trying
Was that
to.
the first place you played?
Very first. And
Well-
do you want to know who I saw in the very first round I ever saw?
Absolutely.
Tony Lane.
Really?
David Lee.
Wow.
And I thought,
Wow.
thank God I'm just here to be a musician.
Right.
And not a-
moly.
And not
what
a
a
David
welcome.
Lee.
But here,
What a
but I
welcome.
told myself that I'm like, I'm not here to be a songwriter.
Yeah.
I want to be a touring musician.
Yeah.
But original music, and so I didn't know I'd end up being a full-time songwriter.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be a hobbyist,
Yeah.
kind of, sorta, and
How
write.
it starts.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a
meeting
it's a
people, yeah.
gateway role.
It's
It was
that's the
a
gate
drug.
exactly.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
the
it was a
gateway.
drug.
That's
So-
great. It's
But
gateway.
that was funny, and I thought, thank God I'm not here to be a writer. I can't compete with that.
Yeah. That's,
And
I mean,
so
that's
I was
that's
like,
a
I'm auditioning.
actually-
heck of
it's
an
actually still true.
indoctrination right there.
yeah.
In some ways, you're right. It's crazy.
I
But
mean, you
yeah.
were not wrong in that.
No,
But
with those
you
guys.
told yourself some weird stuff, but that was not one of them.
And we mentioned Debbie Champion. If anybody's watching this trying to make it in Nashville, go meet Debbie at the Commodore. She'll get you in. But we're about out of time. It's time
we
to
are.
play
We
a song.
are.
And
Yeah. Hours up.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Time to-
you
time
gonna
to
play
hear
us a
I'm
some
song,
so
music.
Kyle?
glad you
Let's do
guys
it.
shared those stories.
This is amazing.
This has been
I
fun.
thought it was
Yeah,
rough
yeah.
having to fly in here on Southwest for a week out of a month and stay in an Airbnb.
How long were you coming here before, though? I forgot to ask that.
A couple of years.
A couple of years. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's, Carrie, if you don't mind, we'll use your microphone for his guitar. I'm gonna get this thing set up here, and Scott and
Yep,
Jericho,
we
if you
will
want to
carry it
keep
along.
the
Yeah,
convo
absolutely.
going.
Yeah, I'll get you.
We'll have you
guitar for
have you. I'm gonna get up too, just so that we can. Or actually, I guess I got to do the sound here. But
Yeah. So while
let me hang on a
John's
sec. Let me just get this.
Yeah, we'll talk
all-
about Debbie at the Commodore.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, going to the Commodore. The Commodore is a great venue, and it is an awesome place to go play at. It's a great place to get started with writers rounds. They have kind of a
Yeah.
open mic thing sometimes that you can play to get in, and also you can just kind of talk to whoever's running sound and say, "Hey, I'm new to town. I want to get on your list to play rounds." And it's a great place to play and kind of get connected, and great place to network as well. And then right across the street from that is the local, where we
That's-
literally were networking at and
Yeah.
playing at tonight. So
that one's a little trickier. So I was going to say, when you come to town, you want to find the places where they do have open mics. That's how you're going to get yourself started and working your way in to playing more higher profile rounds and situations. So that's why I agree with Jericho. A great place to start is at the Commodore Bar and Grill, because they do have that opportunity where you can sign up almost every night and get a shot. Get your shot at your first song played in Nashville somewhere. I don't know that a lot do that these days, so it's kind of rare, and it's a nice thing that they're doing for new people just walking into town. You literally walking off the street, you get there early enough, you sign up, you got your shot, or at least one song, and so you never know if they. If she likes you, Debbie will put you in a round and bring you back. So,
and she's great.
So much history.
She's great.
Yeah. You know.
All righty. You want to set the song up for us, Kyle? Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna do a song called "These Days." I wrote this actually, I think before I even moved here, but it's about everybody's got a relationship, you know, that's gone south on them, and sometimes they come back to you. And you got to kind of figure out, do I want to go back down that road, or am I going to go a different direction? Well, you came a-crawling, crying out my name. Yeah, and you say you're hoping I'll love you anyway. Oh, well, I ain't listening to a word you say, no, not today. 'Cause I don't wanna love you these days. Oh, 'cause I don't play no second best, hell, and I wasn't good enough for you, I guess. And I don't want your second-hand love. I gotta give it to you, though. Well, that ain't how it goes, y'all. I was all nervous and everything. Can I try it one more time? Yeah. Fair enough? Yeah. All right. Here we go. We'll get it right this time. Well, you came a-crawling, crying out my name. Yeah, and you say you're hoping I'll love you anyway. Oh, well, I ain't listening to a word you say, no, not today. 'Cause I don't wanna love you these days. There was a time I'd hold you tight and tell you everything was gonna be alright. And I'd say, I think you ought to stay. Oh, but I don't wanna love you these days. All the words you choose sound so damn sincere. Yeah, and you found a way to muster up some tears. Yeah, you did well. One thing's for sure, when I see you this way, hell, I'm amazed. But I still don't wanna love you these days. Oh, 'cause I don't play no second best, hell, and I wasn't good enough for you, I guess. And I don't want your second-hand love. I gotta give it to you, though. Girl, you put on one hell of a show. Oh, but this time I don't want you to stay. No, 'cause I don't wanna love you these days. No, I still don't wanna love you these days. These days, not these days.
Wow, that was
That was
beautiful. You have
beautiful.
an amazing
Beautiful,
voice.
beautiful.
God bless
What an amazing voice.
Strike 2, right?
You did great. That was amazing. So that's the show. Yeah. Sorry, Scott. Yeah, Scott, you've reached your quota. You've reached your quota of talking time for the show.
Apparently so.
And so then that's what happens. You get yanked.
I can understand that. That makes a lot of sense.
This has been an amazing show. Carrie's off screen right now, but Carrie, thank you for joining us here today. Oh yeah, don't fall out of the
Here we go.
chair.
You can come
Carrie's
back
hand.
to the
Yeah,
camera.
please come
view.
back. Come
You
back.
can come back.
Or
to the
you
couch.
come back at least.
And I forgot to shout out my nephew Matthew.
Yes.
Yeah, come on,
is
camera view,
visiting,
Matthew.
So
Come on out.
come on in camera.
Future ginormous hit producer, Grammy Award winning.
So you can wave to the camera,
Matthew.
Matthew. Anything to say?
Can I get a mic?
That was his debut.
That's
Matthew's,
words
debut.
of wisdom. Words of wisdom.
Yeah, debut performance.
All right.
I just want to say I can't thank y'all enough for having me on here.
been so
I've been
fun.
looking forward to this, and
Absolutely.
and I had so much fun, and I hope I get to do it again one day. This has
Heck
been a
yeah, would
blast.
love to have you back. Absolutely. You and Carrie would love to
Yeah.
have you both back.
That's a show. And
Thank you for.
Oh yeah, you're on.
You're on.
You're
you
on.
just don't have headphones, but you're
But
on.
we can hear you.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear
I
you.
have no control here. Yeah, it's really very exciting to be included, you guys. I love what you're doing here. And yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll have you back
Thank you.
soon. We'll have you back soon.
Love to.
Everybody, we do this every single Friday, at least for the foreseeable future. We have some exciting, interesting little twists and turns that we're
Yes, we
planning right now.
do.
So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, see you next Friday, and this is going to be fun. We are the Music City Writers Room, and that's the show. All right, everybody.
See y'all. Have a good night.
Thank you.